back. Uh, I'll still be speaking on the art of leadership, and for those who missed the first part of this class, I briefly spoke about the size of a leader, what makes up the size of a leader, and we talked about the vision of the leader, the reach of his love, the height of his desires, and also the depth of his conviction. Um, I want to speak now on two categories of leaders, right? And the reason why I want to speak on this is because I believe that everyone is going to see clearly what other people around you, what category they fall into. So, there are two categories of leaders. There are leaders who develop followers and leaders who develop leaders. I repeat, there are leaders who develop followers and leaders who develop leaders. And you don't need to ask a leader what category he belongs to. I don't need to ask you what category you belong to. All I need to know is I just need to observe you and examine the kind of people that you lead. So the way we know a leader is by the kind of people that they lead. The kind of people, the way those people behave, the way those people react, that's the way we know weaknesses of the people they are leading, or we call them their followers. They focus on the weaknesses of their followers, right? At the same time, they develop the bottom 20%. They are responsible for developing the bottom 20% and pushing them to actually take action. They treat their people the same way for fairness. They treat everybody the same way. They don't explain this so that you can know what type of leader you are and see if you need to grow into another kind of leader, right? They grow by addition and they impart only people they touch personally. So leaders who lead followers or who develop followers, what has happened is their impact is reduced. They don't have so much impact across different places. But if you actually dream to be a leader who wants to have impact across different places, across different parts of the world, across different sectors, different space of influence, you need to grow beyond just you need to impart people far beyond your own reach, right? Leaders who develop followers, their followers are not positioned in leadership. All the people they develop are not positioned in leadership, and they are into mass production. They make everybody look alike. So when you find yourself in a space that everybody looks alike, everybody behaves alike, everybody thinks like the leader, everybody does everything like leader, what has happened is the leader or the person that has developed such person or those group of people is a leader who develop followers. Now, my focus is on leaders who develop leaders, and this is the characteristics I want every one of us to imbibe. Leaders who develop leaders want to be succeeded. It is wrong for you to want to think at that position forever. You should think of succession. There should be a succession mentality. You don't want to be at that spot for too long. I mean, if you don't have people you are going to hand over things to, you're going to devolutionize power to, you're going to be at that spot forever. So if you're going to move up the ladder, if you're going to move up in impact, you also need to think about succession. You need to desire to be succeeded. The way you grow power and leadership is that you have a plan to be succeeded. Leaders who develop leaders focus on some weaknesses. Yes, weaknesses kind of leaders is that they give power away. They give power away. Let me tell you something. To be a leader who develop leaders, you must not be insecure. You need to trust the people around you. You need to develop that consciousness and that mentality that you can trust them with power. And the way you trust people with power is that you delegate things to them. The way you trust people with power is that you allow them to carry out different responsibilities. You allow them to do things that you normally should do. And that's the way to develop leaders. That's the way to make sure that there's a good and a perfect succession plan for you. They invest time in others, not spend time. They invest time in others. As a leader, you must invest time in other people. You must create out time to speak with people, to train them. You must invest time in them. There is no way you will create or you would build new leaders without investing time in them. I tell you, if you have an organization, and you will see that organizations have business organizations, serious-minded business organizations, they have training programs for new recruits. They call some of those things graduate training program, and the reason they do some of those things is to invest time in developing them. They want to be able to build staff that will be released into different parts of the organization, and they will be able to develop at an optimal level. So it is very important that if you are going to be a leader of leaders, you don't want to have just mere people around you. You don't just want to have followers. You want to have people that can think for themselves, people that can lead, people that can deliver results across different places. You need to invest time in them. And investing time sometimes might mean that you write materials, you create different training programs, you expose them to some settings, and you need to deliberately and consciously do this to become a leader who develops leaders. Another thing about these leaders who develop leaders is they grow by multiplication. And the reason why they grow by multiplication is because their impact is touching different people, and they are empowering those new leaders that they are training to be able to go out and touch other people. So they have multiplication. Imagine all of us on this call, in this class, we go out and begin to also train different leaders across different places. You see that there's a spiral effect. The effect of our leadership is spreading across different places. Influence is being built, right? Leaders who develop leaders are building great influence, and they're not just building it for themselves. They're not just holding on to the power. They're not just trying to be the Lord over everyone, right? What they are trying to do is they are trying to grow by multiplication. They also impart people far beyond their own reach. Listen, you must have this mentality that you want to impact people far beyond your reach. How can you multiply the effect of your impact? It is by raising people that can go out there and impact other people. That way, you are imparting people far beyond your reach, right? They also create leaders and position them into leadership position. You must create leaders and position them into leadership position. You don't just create leaders or invest time with people. You also need to find a way to push them into leadership position. When you begin to train leaders, you begin to know what departments to put them into. Oh, this person is going to head this unit. This person is going to head this particular place. You also need to position them into leadership position, right? Another special thing that you must consider if you want to be a leader of leaders, a leader that develops other leaders, you are into unique creation. You empower people to be unique. And this is something that every one of us must understand. Everyone can be like you. You as a leader have to understand this. If you really want to have leaders who if you really want the people that follow you to be leaders, the people you are leading to also become leaders, you need to understand that everyone is unique. Not everyone will be like you. Not everyone will function like you. Not everyone will behave the way you behave. But listen, you need to understand the uniqueness in each people. There is beauty in uniqueness. There is beauty in diversity. And once you are able to unlock that, you will find out that in your circle, in that circle of leadership, there's different expressions that attract different kind of people. So you need to understand that you have to be into unique creation, not mass production. Everybody must not be like you. It's wrong if everybody is like you. I believe it is wrong if everybody's like you. So you need to be into unique creation. Empower people to be unique. Don't force your own way of doing things down people's throats. Create structures that guide them to follow their uniqueness. Create structures that guides them to develop their talents in their uniqueness. Let me tell you something. If you look at music, for example, there are different genres of music, and there are different people. Not everyone sings the same way. Some people sing the soul song, some people sing a rap song, different ways of singing, right? But one thing you need to understand clearly is this. They are all doing music. They are all singing music. But everyone has found his uniqueness. And you just see that there is beauty in what every other person is doing, regardless of the genre of music that they are singing. That's the same way you need to look at leadership from. We're all trying to produce or lead people to greatness. We're all trying to deliver greatness wherever it is. But there is uniqueness in each person. Your strength may not be this other person's strength, and you need to take that into account. In fact, it also determines how you relate with the leaders under you. You know that there are some leaders you can't just shout at them. Some leaders you need to talk to them one-on-one. Some leaders there are different ways of relating with leaders. You need to just understand this, the uniqueness of people. If you can understand the uniqueness of people, you are on your way to becoming leaders of leaders, right? So, those are the things that distinguish a leader who develop followers, and a leader who develop leaders. There's some facts I want you to know, right, as a leader. There are some facts I want you to know as a leader. The first thing I want you to understand is you can't do everything alone. Whatever vision you have, whatever things you intend to do, number one in your mind is, I can't do this alone. Listen, 1 will chase 1,000, 2, 10,000. And the reason why 2 is 10,000 is because when you are doing something with other people, when you come in partnership with other people, there is a multiplied effect. It is easier to actually achieve those things. I remember back in secondary school, primary school, we always told that if one person can do this for so and so days, how long will it take 4 people to do it? And then you see that it takes a shorter time for them to achieve that particular thing that they are doing, right? So you can't do it alone. Understand this. As a leader, I can't do it. You need to remind yourself and tell yourself that you can't do it alone. Not because you don't have the capacity, right? People, in whatever it is you are trying to do, it's easier and it's faster to achieve those things. Are we together? You have to build a team that feels like a family. Whatever team you build, you need to find a way to make the bonding strong. Because it's easier if everyone, if everyone see themselves as a family, or I'm closer to this person, I have a special bond with this person. It's important if your team feels like a family. It's easier for everyone to move and to begin to go out. It's easier for you to talk about being your brother's keeper. It's easier for you to focus on a goal at once, right? So build your team like a family. Some companies nowadays they call an activity team bonding, right? And the essence of this kind of activity is just to make sure that the team comes together and they leave the corporate setting, right? And they lower their guard, and everyone plays, have fun. And the whole reason of this is so that the team feels like a family. It's easier to drag a team that is united at heart. A family means you are all united at heart. It's not united on paper. That is, everyone feels that connection. So if you want to go fast at something, right, you need to build a team that feels like a family. Jesus Christ himself had to call 12 disciples and bring them to himself. They lived like a family. They moved around like a family. And that is why it was easier for the disciples to go out and begin to do great things. Right? So once there is a family effect in your team, not that you speak today and then you don't speak to your team, or you don't create the opportunity for everyone to be together in the heart of other people. So you need to build a team that feels like a family. Right? Another fact that you must know as a leader is that you need to know how to raise leaders. You must actively involve all team members in planning. And the reason why you involve all team members in planning is, let me tell you something, there's an effect that happens when you gather people together and you plan something with them together. Everybody's heart is involved in that thing from start. Their mind is involved in it from start. They are able to process it from start. So it's not like, oh, you just bring up something and you dump it on them. I've had situations where I've had to call people together and tell them that, listen, you need to carry everybody along on this matter. Some companies will tell you need to carry the stakeholders along, because if you don't carry them along from your planning stage, at some point, some people begin to come up with different interests, and then there's the progress of the work is stopped. There is no progress, and once things like that happen, your vision begins to die naturally. So from start, involve your team in planning. You want to go out and establish a project, you want to go out, you want to do a march around the city. Involve everyone in your team in planning from start. Give them the freedom to make their decision, right? So we need to leave this controlling mentality alone. You can't control everybody. You can't be everywhere at the same time. You need to, I talked about delegating activities earlier. You need to also understand that give everyone the freedom to make their decisions. If you have put someone in charge of something, allow the person make decisions, and that's how leaders grow. When you are able to make decisions and they are able to produce results, your confidence level as a leader or as a sub leader increases, right? So with such experience, when you get to bigger positions, you know that you have the capacity to deliver, right? So when you allow people make decisions, even when there are mistakes, they learn from those mistakes. They are able to reflect back. But if you make those decisions for them, they are not able to understand, oh, what is the result of this decision? What has happened? How can I improve on it? So you need to let the leaders under you to make decisions. Give them the freedom to make decisions. Delegate responsibility, authority, and accountability to them. They have the authority to do anything in their department. But these are people you've proven and you've trusted, right? So for you to have brought them into your team, it means that you trust them to deliver. So give them the chance to work. Don't try to be the Lord of all. Don't try to be the Lord of all. Don't try to make sure that everything goes according to your plan. I've seen leaders that if it's not according to their plan, they will fight you, frustrate you, do all kind of things. No, don't be that kind of leader. If you want the people under you to grow, if you want to have a greater impact, because listen, as you begin to advance in life, the number of things you need to focus on begin to reduce. So it means that you cannot be everywhere. Imagine if the president of Nigeria wants to be in the 36 states at the same time. It's not possible. That's why there are governors across the 36 states of the nation. Imagine you also running a company, or you're running a large global company. Your vision is, okay, you want your organization to be global. Imagine now that you're a CEO of a global company. You can't manage different branches at the same time. You can't be there at the same time. So you need to be able to trust the people you brought in by giving them the authority to make those decisions. Trust them to make those decisions, right? Another thing you need to know as a leader is that you have to be considerate of the needs and interests of others. I mentioned this earlier about loving your followers, loving them so much. Be considerate of the needs and interests. Be human, right? Have empathy. Right? These are the things that endear followers to their leaders. Don't just be leaders that say, oh, you did this, and you don't want to hear the reason why that has happened. Be logical enough, and don't crucify people. Listen, right? Try to understand. Try to be considerate to their needs and interests. Leaders make sure that when they win, everybody wins. It's something you must also consider. Everybody wins, right? You should also notice that you must make your leaders feel strong and capable. It is in your power to make your leaders feel strong and capable. And what do I mean by making them feel strong and capable? It is let me tell you, determine the confidence level of your leaders. If you are a demeaning and condescending person that speaks down on your leader, talk down on them, say denigrating words to them, what you have done is you have watered the confidence level of these people, and it is going to affect the overall output of your team. So you need to always tell them, when people come close to you and they say, your followers come to you and they say, oh, I don't think I can do this. It is in your interest. It is the best thing to do is to find a way to put confidence. I've not seen anyone that said, I don't think I can do this, and eventually went ahead to do it. They all won. They all delivered. Most of the people that I know of, they delivered. The only thing is they only doubted their capacity because they have not handled it. But listen, once you allow them to throw their mind into those things, what is going to happen is you are going to see results. So it is your duty to make them feel strong and capable, right? And you do this by creating mutual respect and that is what sustains the team's efforts. Nurture self-esteem in your followers. Are you with me? Nurture self-esteem in your followers. Build their confidence. I tell you, there are people I remember today because they build self-esteem in me, and I make sure that I try to consciously do that for the people around me by telling them and letting them know that you can achieve this particular thing. Those words go far. I mean, there are some times that I wanted to do to me by different people, different leaders, and I just come to understand that those things are very, very important, that you do them for your followers, right? Your priority as a leader is to lead and not to manage. This is funny. Your priority as a leader is to lead and not to manage. Listen, if you follow the train of thought from start, you will see that there is this emphasis on you allowing your leaders to make their decisions themselves. When you are leading, you're creating a mental picture and trusting them to come up with different strategies, to run with the strategies that you've come up at your planning stage. Now, when you are managing people, it means that you are dictating their moves. You are, what they call micromanaging, right? You are following them up. You're not giving them the breathing space. When they do this, you are already there to eat them, to attack them. No, things are not done that way. You lead. Your job is to lead. Then delegate and let them report to you. When you are always in their faces, when you're always pursuing them, doing all those kind of things, what you are doing is managing people, and you would wear yourself out as a leader. You begin, just imagine, the eyes is for vision, the eyes is in the head, and let's assume the eyes is the leader, and then the eyes is trying to always look at what the hand and the leg are doing. What will happen? The eyes will not be able to see what is in front because it is distracted. It has taken its mind off what he ought to do. That's the same thing that happens when you are managing. Managing means you are trying to make sure that everybody is doing this. No, you brought in a team, you trust them, you've given them a good training, you build that team bonding with them. There are some disciplines that you've instilled, there are some policies that you put in place. Let everybody work. Build a quality system and lead, not manage. The last thing I'm going to say here this evening for leaders is that you must have integrity. People follow leaders who have integrity. People buy into a leader before they buy into his vision. The reason why people will follow your vision or will go after your vision is because they know that you are truly interested in them. And let me tell you something. People can smell a user from far. People are discerning of character. It is important that you follow men of good character. That is, if you are serious-minded, you are really concerned about achieving great things. Your character is important as a leader. People first buy into you. You lay your lives down for leaders that you trust, not leaders that you don't know. That's the way it works. So if you are a leader, people need to buy into you first, and that is your integrity. Your word is your bond. You are not saying this and doing B. It is what you say that you do. You are known for saying things and doing them and getting them done. It is something that you need to be conscious of as a leader. Therefore, transparency, honesty, openness must be your qualities. Don't be, I've seen leaders that hide stuff. Leaders of organizations, they try to cover up so many things, and the funny thing is, what you are trying to cover up, people know. And once people begin to sense that you are doing a cover-up work, they begin to withdraw from you. You must operate transparency as a leader. Be transparent. In financial dealings, be transparent, because every organization definitely will have financial dealings. Be transparent. It starts from the little things. We're going to do this. Make sure you do it. Oh, this thing did not happen. See, don't say, I'm the leader. I'm not responsible to anyone. I'm not accountable to anyone. You are accountable to your team. Understand this. You are accountable to your team. Your team, you report to your team. Right? It's not that you have to give them, no. But once anything comes up that you know will affect your integrity, will taint your person, you need to be transparent about it. You need to be open about it. Let them ask questions. Don't dodge from questions. Don't avoid questions. When you're doing that, it appears as you being shady, right? So these are some of the things, right, that I believe that once we begin to imbibe them and take conscious efforts, to produce them in our lives, we are onto something great in our lives. As a leader, make sure that these facts are things that you carry out in your life. Right? Make sure that you put them to use. Sit down, look at the things that we've learned between yesterday and today. You can get those sessions again on YouTube, on the Reverend Tobi Church page, and watch them, right? And just listen to them over and over and over and over again. And as you do so, you're going to see that the more you begin to practice those things, you're going to see changes in your team. You're going to see changes in your team. This is the first edition of this leadership. Them will be free, some of them will be paid, right? But I just want you to stay glued, because we have so many concepts, new concepts on leadership in the 21st century that is going to make you excellent leaders in whatever sphere that you find yourself. So please stay tuned. We are going to share more information on this very soon. And thank you so much for joining this leadership training yesterday and today. I look forward to seeing you another time. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you.